Great Depression wasn't just an economic downturn. It was a turning point in how people thought about money, security, and survival. Nearly a century later, the lessons from that era remain relevant. Today we'll explore what the Great Depression can teach us about financial stability, resilience, and the habits that help us weather any storm. Let's start by understanding how this crisis began and why its impact was so profound, shaping generations to come. 1929, the world changed overnight. The stock market crashed, wiping out billions of dollars in value almost instantly. Banks failed, businesses shuttered, and millions of people suddenly found themselves without jobs. But the real roots of the crisis went deeper than just the crash itself. Years of risky borrowing, unchecked spending, and a fragile financial system set the stage for disaster. The crash was simply the spark that ignited a much larger fire. Financial system of the 1920s was built on shaky ground. Easy credit and speculative investments made the economy look strong, but underneath it was vulnerable. When the crash hit, the weaknesses were exposed. Banks didn't have enough reserves and many people lost their savings overnight. This fragility made recovery difficult and prolonged the suffering for millions. For most families, the hardest part wasn't the crash itself. It was the day-to-day struggle that followed. With limited income, scarce resources, and constant uncertainty, people had to rethink what security really meant. Every decision became about survival, and the definition of stability changed. The struggle was not just financial but emotional and psychological as well. Security during the Great Depression wasn't about having luxuries or even steady jobs. It was about making do with what you had, stretching every dollar and finding new ways to get by. Families learned to value things differently, focusing on essentials and letting go of non-essentials. This shift in mindset was crucial for survival and resilience. One of the most important lessons from the Great Depression is that cash is stability. Families who had even a small cushion of savings were able to weather the storm much better than those who didn't. Cash wasn't just about having money, it was about having peace of mind. When everything else felt uncertain, a little buffer made all the difference. Even a small amount of savings could mean the difference between panic and calm. Families with a financial cushion didn't have to make desperate decisions or go without basic needs. This buffer allowed them to plan ahead, adapt to changing circumstances, and maintain a sense of control even when the world around them felt chaotic. Another crucial lesson is that debt can make tough times even tougher. Those who were heavily in debt before the crash struggled the most. When income stopped, debt payments didn't. This added pressure made it nearly impossible for many families to recover quickly. Keeping debt low is a key way to protect yourself when the unexpected happens. Debt doesn't go away just because times get tough. For many families during the Great Depression, ongoing debt payments drained what little income they had left. This burden forced difficult choices like skipping meals or selling possessions. The lesson is clear: keeping debt manageable is essential for long-term stability. During the Great Depression, people with practical skills fared better than those who only consumed. Skills like fixing, growing, and repairing became incredibly valuable. When money lost its value, the ability to create, mend, or produce something useful provided a sense of security and independence that money alone couldn't offer. People who could fix things, grow food, or repair clothing were able to meet their needs without relying on money. These practical skills not only saved money but also built confidence and self-reliance. In uncertain times, knowing how to do things yourself is a powerful asset. Surviving the Great Depression wasn't about making dramatic changes overnight. It was about small, consistent habits: spending less, saving a little, and wasting nothing. These tiny adjustments, repeated day after day, created real resilience and helped families get through even the toughest times. It wasn't the big, dramatic gestures that made the difference. Instead, it was the steady, everyday choices like cooking at home, repairing instead of replacing, and finding creative ways to stretch resources. These habits built a foundation of stability that lasted long after the crisis ended. One of the most common habits during the Great Depression was wasting nothing. Every scrap of food, every piece of fabric, and every usable item was saved and repurposed. This mindset not only helped families survive but also fostered creativity and resourcefulness. With limited resources, people found creative ways to solve problems. Old clothes were patched, leftovers became new meals, and broken items were fixed instead of thrown away. This creativity turned scarcity into opportunity and helped families make the most of what they had. Survival during the Great Depression often depended on community. Neighbors shared food, traded skills, and supported each other through tough times. This sense of togetherness made a huge difference, reminding everyone that they weren't alone in their struggles. With cash scarce, bartering became common. People traded goods and services: a loaf of bread for a repair job or fresh vegetables for a homemade meal. Sharing resources and skills helped everyone get by, strengthening community bonds and building trust. Financial stability isn't just about money. The Great Depression taught people the importance of emotional resilience. Staying hopeful, supporting loved ones, and finding joy in small things helped families endure hardship and keep moving forward. Even in hard times, people found ways to enjoy life. Simple pleasures like family meals, storytelling, and music became sources of comfort and happiness. These moments reminded everyone that stability isn't just financial, it's also about well-being and connection. The ability to adapt was crucial during the Great Depression. People had to change their routines, learn new skills, and adjust their expectations. Flexibility allowed families to respond to challenges and find new ways to thrive, even when circumstances were tough. Many people used the crisis as an opportunity to learn. Whether it was gardening, sewing, or basic repairs, picking up new skills made families more self-sufficient and less dependent on outside help. This spirit of learning and growth was a key part of surviving and eventually thriving. Children growing up during the Great Depression learned important lessons early. They saw firsthand the value of hard work, saving, and helping others. These lessons shaped their attitudes for life, influencing how they approached money and stability as adults. The habits and values formed during the Great Depression didn't disappear when the economy improved. Families passed down their wisdom, teaching future generations about the importance of saving, avoiding debt, and working together. These lessons became a legacy of resilience. Living simply became a way of life. People learned to appreciate what they had and focus on needs rather than wants. This approach not only helped them survive the Depression but also brought a sense of contentment and gratitude. Eventually, the Great Depression came to an end. The economy recovered, jobs returned, and life slowly improved. But the habits and mindsets people developed during those hard years didn't fade away. They became the foundation for future stability and growth. The lesson of building a financial cushion is just as relevant now as it was then. Even a small emergency fund can provide peace of mind and flexibility when life throws a curveball. Start small, but start today. Your future self will thank you. Keeping debt low remains a powerful way to protect yourself. Avoiding unnecessary loans and credit can help you stay flexible and resilient no matter what the economy does. The less you owe, the more control you have over your future. Investing in practical skills pays off in any era. Whether it's cooking, fixing things, or growing your own food, these abilities make you more independent and prepared for whatever comes your way. Skills are assets that never lose value. Simple, steady habits like budgeting, saving, and minimizing waste create a strong foundation for financial stability. These habits don't require big sacrifices, just consistency and mindfulness. Over time, they add up to real security. The principles learned during the Great Depression, saving, avoiding debt, building skills, and relying on habits, are timeless. No matter how much the world changes, these fundamentals remain the backbone of financial stability. Today, we face different challenges, but the lessons of the past still apply. Whether it's job loss, economic downturns, or unexpected expenses, the habits and mindsets from the Great Depression can guide us through. By applying these lessons, we can build a more secure future. Understanding how money works is more important than ever. The Great Depression highlighted the dangers of risky borrowing and overspending. Today, financial literacy helps us make smarter choices and avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. Passing on the lessons of financial stability to the next generation is crucial. Teaching children about saving, budgeting, and the value of skills ensures that the wisdom of the past continues to benefit the future. Uncertainty is a part of life, but resilience can be learned. The Great Depression showed that with the right habits and mindset, it's possible to survive and even thrive in the face of adversity. Building resilience is a lifelong process. Preparation is key to weathering any storm. Setting aside savings, learning new skills, and building strong habits all contribute to a sense of readiness. The more prepared you are, the less you have to fear from the unknown. Having a support network makes a big difference. Friends, family, and community can provide help, advice, and encouragement when times are tough. The Great Depression reminded everyone of the power of connection. Resourcefulness, making the most of what you have, was a survival skill during the Great Depression. Today, being resourceful still helps you stretch your resources and find creative solutions to problems. Mindful spending, being aware of where your money goes, is a habit that builds stability. The Great Depression forced people to track every penny, and this careful approach can still help us today. Change is inevitable, but embracing it makes you stronger. The Great Depression forced people to adapt quickly, and those who accepted change found new opportunities. Flexibility is a key part of lasting stability. Thinking long-term helps you make better decisions. The habits formed during the Great Depression weren't just for survival, they laid the groundwork for future prosperity. Keeping a long-term perspective helps you stay focused on what matters most. Appreciating what you have brings contentment. The Great Depression taught people to be grateful for small things and to find satisfaction in meeting basic needs. This attitude fosters happiness no matter your circumstances. Financial independence isn't about wealth, it's about control. The Great Depression showed that having savings, skills, and good habits gives you more freedom and less stress, no matter what happens in the economy. Hope kept people going during the darkest days of the Great Depression, believing that things could get better inspired action and perseverance. Hope is a powerful force for resilience and recovery. The lessons of the Great Depression aren't just history, they're a guide for today. By building a cushion, avoiding debt, developing skills, and relying on steady habits, you can create your own financial stability no matter what the future holds. Times change, but the principles of financial stability remain the same. The Great Depression taught us that with the right habits, mindset, and support, anyone can build a secure future. Let these lessons inspire you to create your own path to stability and resilience.